Good afternoon, students. Today we are going to discuss about cultivation of anaerobes and measurement of bacterial growth. In previous lecture, we studied about nutritional requirements for the growth of bacteria, the physical requirements for the growth of bacteria, and the methods of bacterial reproduction. So, into the microbiological laboratory, the cultivation of various bacteria mainly requires the culture medium, which is a mixture of ingredients which provides essential nutrients for the growth of microorganisms. For example, nutrient agar and nutrient broth. Nutrient agar is solid in nature, while nutrient broth is mainly liquid in nature. These are two generally used culture media for the growth of microorganisms, and various physical conditions are also maintained for the proper growth of microorganisms, like temperature is essential, that is optimum growth temperature, optimum pH, as well as oxygen is particularly maybe or may not be required for the growth of microorganisms. So for cultivating the microorganisms into the microbiological laboratory, various requirements are mainly there. For example, sterilized culture medium as well as sterilized glasswares. Okay, and after sterilizing the culture medium, that is either nutrient agar or nutrient broth, they are mainly taken into the suitable glassware, that is either into the petri plate, that is nutrient agar is poured into the petri plate while nutrient broth is poured into the test tube, and into this kind of culture medium the suspension of microorganisms to be grown are inoculated. In previous lecture we studied what actually the inoculation is. It is the artificial induction or transfer of suspension of microorganisms onto the culture medium, and after inoculation into the culture medium, that culture medium along with microorganisms is incubated at required temperature, that is optimum growth temperature, generally 37 degrees Celsius, and after for 12 to 24 hours, and after 12 to 24 hours the growth is observed in the form of colonies in case of petri plate, while in the form of turbidity in case of test tubes, that is nutrient broth. Okay, so in case of petri plate we get the colonies. Colony is nothing but it is the growth of cells. It is the principle that a single cell develops a single colony. Means colony may be called as mass of cells, but here in order to count the number of cells, one cell is mainly developed into the one colony. Okay, so in today's presentation we are going to see about cultivation of anaerobes and measurement of bacterial growth. Cultivation of anaerobes. What do you mean by anaerobes? Anaerobes are the microorganisms which do not require oxygen for their growth as well as survival. Into the previous lecture we have studied that on the basis of oxygen requirement, bacteria are divided into three types, that is aerobic bacteria, anaerobic bacteria, and facultative anaerobic bacteria. Aerobic bacteria means which require the oxygen for their growth and survival, while in case of anaerobic bacteria which do not require the oxygen for their growth, and if oxygen is present it is toxic to such cells. Okay, then why oxygen is toxic to such cells? Because here in an aerobic system oxygen acts as electron acceptor, hence it is essential for metabolic activity and respiration. Okay, so and single oxygen is mainly normal oxygen, but that oxygen after respiration is mainly converted into superoxide radicals as well as hydrogen peroxide, which are toxic. Okay, which are toxic for the growth. So molecular oxygen can directly oxidize different essential groups or enzymes, and during the oxidation it gives off toxic superoxide radical as well as hydrogen peroxide. Okay, so superoxide radicals can inactivate cell components and produce more toxic substances such as hydrogen peroxide and hydroxyl radicals. Okay, and these radicals are strong oxidizing agents and interfere with metabolism and destroy the cellular components very rapidly. Okay, but aerobic and facultative anaerobic bacteria possess two enzymes, namely superoxide dismutase and catalase. Okay, these enzymes are only present into aerobic as well as anaerobic, while these enzymes are absent into anaerobic bacteria. Okay, superoxide dismutase converts a superoxide radical to oxygen and hydrogen peroxide, as you can see into the reaction, while hydrogen peroxide is converted to water and oxygen by the enzyme catalase. Okay, so these two reactions you can see the function of superoxide dismutase is to convert superoxide radical to oxygen and hydrogen peroxide, while the function of catalase is to convert the hydrogen peroxide to water into the oxygen, to water and the oxygen. Okay, so after conversion of these radicals into normal components, they are not toxic to such cells. Okay, so above enzymes are mainly absent into anaerobes, and that's why oxygen is toxic to anaerobes. Okay, so this is the reason why oxygen is toxic to anaerobes. Now, the main principle behind cultivation of anaerobes is to reduce the oxygen content of culture medium and remove any oxygen which is already present inside the system or in the medium. Okay. For aerobic as well as facultative anaerobic bacteria, oxygen is required, so there is no need to remove out oxygen from the culture medium as well as into the medium in which we are going to grow such a kind of microorganisms. But as the oxygen is toxic to anaerobic bacteria, it is essential to remove out oxygen from the culture medium, and there are various methods by which we can cultivate anaerobic bacteria. Okay, first method is use of pre-reduced media. As we already discussed, pre-reduced media means pre-reduced culture media, the culture media which is reduced to displace the oxygen by the use of reduction of oxygen into the culture media. Okay, for example, 1% of glucose, 0.1% of thioglycolate, 0.1% of ascorbic acid can be used for reduction of oxygen into the medium. Okay, second method or second approach is to use the candle jar. Okay, so displacement of oxygen with gases such as hydrogen, nitrogen, helium or carbon dioxide is employed. A popular method is candle jar. Okay, all inoculated petri plates are placed into the large airtight container, that is the jar, and a lighted candle is kept before the lid is placed, before the lid is sealed. So what happens is the burning candle uses all the oxygen which is present into the jar. Okay, so whatever oxygen is there within the jar, that is mainly utilized by the burning candle, and likewise the oxygen into the large jar is mainly removed out. Okay, it is another approach. The third approach is by the use of vacuum desiccator. Means whatever oxygen is present within the vessel or within the large container in which we are going to store the petri plates, that oxygen is mainly removed out by the application of vacuum, and only some of the oxygen may be left behind, and fluid culture may boil ever and the media may get detached from the plates. Okay, and fourth, which is generally used or most widely used method for cultivation of anaerobes is by using the gas pack system. Okay, here into the image you can see, it is the gas pack system which is mainly employed for cultivation of anaerobic bacteria. So it is a method of choice for preparing anaerobic jars. So here you can see it is there is a large jar, and inside the jar we can store the petri plates containing culture medium as well as anaerobic bacteria. Inside the jar there is also anaerobic indicator which is methylene blue. Then there are two envelopes which contain sodium bicarbonate and sodium borohydrate. There is a lid, then clamped with screw, and catalyst pellets are mainly there. Okay, so the gas pack is commercially available as disposable envelope containing the chemicals which generate hydrogen and carbon dioxide in addition of water. The presence of coal catalyst in the envelope permits the combination of hydrogen and oxygen to produce an anaerobic environment. Okay, so anaerobic environment is mainly created by the envelope which contains sodium bicarbonate and sodium borohydride. Okay, so whatever oxygen is there, that is mainly removed out, and the reduced methylene blue is generally used for verifying that the anaerobic condition is in the jars. It contains colorless anaerobically, means it remains colorless anaerobically but turns blue on exposure to oxygen. Means if oxygen is there, then it turns blue, but if there is no oxygen, then it remains colorless. Okay, so likewise the gas pack system is the most effective method of cultivating the anaerobic bacteria. Okay, so these are the four methods which are mainly employed for cultivation of anaerobes. Then next point is the measurement of bacterial growth. Means after sufficient time is allowed for proper growth of bacteria into the culture medium, and after growth we can also measure that particular kind of growth. Means how many number of cells are there within the vessel. Okay, so that is mainly called as measurement of bacterial growth, and it is one of the important parameter of microbial study. So this measurement to a great extent mainly depends upon number of microorganisms present into the culture. Growth of microorganisms can be quantitatively measured using various techniques. Okay, so there are mainly two, means the methods of measurement of bacterial growth can be divided into two categories, that is total count or direct method and viable count or indirect method. Okay, so first type is total count or direct method. Total count of microorganisms in any given suspension indicates the total number of cells which include both living as well as non-living. That's why it is called as total count. Means these methods count total cells, whether they are living or non-living. Living cells are also called as viable cells, while the non-living cells are non-viable cells. Okay, so the total count, whether the cells may be living or non-living, or whether the cells may be viable or non-viable, are mainly counted by this method. Okay, and it is called as direct method because the sufficient treatment, means that much of treatment is not given to the bacteria, means the cells are counted directly. Okay, while in case of viable count, only living cells, only viable cells are counted. Okay, non-living cells are not counted, and that's why it is also called as indirect method. Okay, now we will see about direct microscopic count. In this method, a known volume of suspension of bacteria. Suspension means cells which are suspended into the saline solution, or cells which are suspended into the nutrient broth which is liquid in nature. So that is mainly called as suspension of microorganisms. Okay, and that is mainly spread uniformly over a glass slide within a specific area. Okay, means glass slide is required, and onto the glass slide the specific area is mainly assigned, and onto that glass slide the smear of microorganisms is mainly fixed. Here the term smear means it is a thin film of microorganisms. Okay, means some inoculum means very small amount of suspension is mainly taken into the wire loop. Wire loop is the device which is mainly made up of nigrom wire, and it has the loop. Into that loop some sort of suspension is mainly taken, and that is mainly spread into the specific area onto the glass slide. So that is mainly called as smear. And after that the smear is fixed. Means fixation of smear means whatever cells are present into the film or the smear, those cells must be fixed to the glass slide, and it is mainly done by passing the smear 2 to 3 times throughout the flame. Okay, and that smear is mainly examined under oil immersion lens, and the cells are mainly counted. Okay, once the number of bacteria has been counted in several different fields, the average number of bacteria per viewing field can be calculated. So the total cells per square centimeter is then calculated by determining the number of microscopic fields per square centimeter. Then next method is counting chamber method. So into this method a specially designed slide which is called as Newbar's slide is also used in direct microscopic counts. Okay, so Newbar's slide is also mainly used for counting the WBCs as well as RBCs. So same slide can be used for observation or for counting the number of cells, counting the number of bacterial cells. Okay, here into the image you can see there are various steps. For example, first one is bacterial suspension is added here, means into the figure you can see fills the shallow volume over the squares by capillary action. So whatever shallow space is there, that is mainly filled with the suspension of microorganisms. Okay, cross section of cell counter, the depth under the cover glass and the area of the squares are known. So the volume of the bacterial suspension over the squares can be calculated. Okay, then into the third figure, means into the third point, you can see microscopic count. Okay, all the cells in the several large squares are counted and the numbers are averaged. The large square shown here has 14 bacterial cells. Okay, the volume of fluid over the large square is 1:1. So this technique is generally used by using the Newbar slide. So it is very effective method and it gives also accurate results. Next method is electronic counter method. So a special instrument is mainly used, that is called as Coulter counter. Okay, here the bacterial suspension is passed throughout a capillary tube. The diameter of this tube is so macroscopic that it allows only one cell to pass at a time. So thousands of cells can be counted in few seconds. Here into the image you can see that is the schematic representation of Coulter counter, which mainly consists of a large vessel, and inside the vessel there is a tube, and throughout the tube suspension of microorganism is mainly passed, and there is small aperture to the tube. Throughout that aperture only single bacterial cell is mainly allowed to pass, and as single bacterial cell passes throughout the aperture, the voltage is generated and that is mainly displayed onto the output. Okay, so this instrument is very rapid. Thousands of cells can be counted in few seconds. Okay, so what are the advantages of direct methods? First, it is simple and rapid. Okay, and by using these methods we can study the morphology of cells, that is size, shape, arrangement, their color, okay, can also be observed with the help of these direct methods. That is the advantages. The disadvantages of these methods are total cell count, that is both viable and non-viable cells, that we already discussed, that non-viable cells are also counted, okay, with these methods. And accuracy declines with very dense and dilute suspension. Yes, if suspension is too much cloudy or too much turbid or dense, if it is too much dilute, then the accuracy is also declined by using this method. Okay, so it is about total count or direct methods of measurement of bacterial growth. Now next kind of methods are indirect methods or viable count. Okay, so in that, first method is plate count technique. As the name suggests, plate means petri plate, count whatever colonies we get within the petri plate, that is mainly counted. Okay, and that's why the method is mainly called as plate count technique. Okay, it measures the number of viable cells only. Okay, that we already discussed. Plate counts assume that each live bacteria grows and divides to produce a single colony. Yes, the growth is observed in the form of colony in case of petri plate. Okay, and it is the principle that a single bacterial cell produces a single colony, and that colony is mainly counted. Okay, so plate counts are also reported as colony forming units. Yes, this is the reason why colony forming units are mainly reported, because here the cells are not counted, colony are mainly counted as cells. Okay, and that's why the plate counts are often reported as CFU, that is colony forming units. When a plate count is performed, it is important that only a limited number of colonies develop into the plate. Yes, if the suspension contains millions of bacterial cells and if it is directly inoculated and incubated, then number of colonies will be too much, so that it becomes impossible to count the number of colonies. Okay, so the number of colonies should be reduced one, and for that purpose serial dilution method is used to lower the number of colonies. Okay, so in this method, a measured amount of diluted bacterial suspension is introduced into the petri plate, after which the nutrient agar medium is added. Okay, immediately mix the agar medium with inoculum. Inoculum means suspension of microorganisms. Okay, by rotating the plate after the solidification of medium, the plates are incubated at 37 degrees Celsius for 24 hours in an inverted position. Okay, but for that, firstly the original sample or bacterial suspension is firstly diluted. So for that purpose, here the serial dilution method is mainly used. Okay, the original inoculum is diluted for multiple times in order to reduce the bacterial cells. For example, into this image you can see original inoculum means original sample. From that 1 ml is pipetted out, and that is mainly added into 9 ml of broth into the tube. So there are 5 tubes. Into each tube there is 9 ml of sterilized nutrient broth. Okay, after that so that first dilution becomes 1:10. Okay, from first tube again 1 ml is pipetted out, that is mainly added into second tube. Okay, from second again 1 ml is pipetted out, that is again added into the third tube. So likewise the dilutions are mainly occurred. So the 5 dilutions are 1:10, 1:100, 1:1000, 1:10,000 and 1:1 lakh. Okay, so as we proceed from 1:10 to 1:1 lakh, the number of bacteria mainly reduces. Okay, and the next step is again take out 1 ml from each tube and transfer that transfer that suspension into the plate which contains the nutrient agar. Okay, sterilized nutrient agar. Okay, and after that the plates are incubated, as we already discussed. The plates are incubated at 37 degrees Celsius for 24 hours in inverted position into the incubator, and that plate is selected which is having 30 to 300 colonies for counting the number of microorganisms. Okay, so here there are 5 Petri plates. So that Petri plate is selected which has the colony count in between 30 to 300. Okay, suppose in the number of colonies into the reciprocal of dilution will give number of bacteria per ml. Suppose for example, if 54 colonies are on a plate of 1:1000 dilution, then the count is 54 into 1000. So we will get 54,000 bacteria per ml in a sample, or 54,000 colony forming units, that is CFU. So by following serial dilution, we will get the accurate result in case of plate count technique. Okay. Next one is membrane filter count. It is the principle of membrane filter count is same as plate count technique, only here membrane filter is used. Membrane filter is a millipore filter which is a circular disc, and onto those discs there are pores of millimeter size, and throughout that filter the suspension of microorganism is mainly poured for filtration, and the microorganisms are mainly retained onto the filter. Okay, a diluted suspension of microorganisms is filtered through a millipore filter. The microbes are retained on filter disc, and this disc is placed in a culture medium in a Petri plate. Petri plates are then incubated and colonies are counted. Okay, so it is also one of the another approach for counting the number of cells. Okay, so likewise the measurement of bacterial growth is mainly carried out. Thank you.